Somebody asked that question regarding Sayyidina Isa last time. That was you? Yeah. Regarding the disbelief and things, wasn't it?
Yes, just some people get at work, they're not very knowledgeable and they
Yes.
take people, they don't know that miracles are actually
Yeah.
miracles are not like
I think because I wasn't concentrating, but I gave you, in 2 different lessons, I gave you maybe 2 different opinions. Not opinions, but they're the same thing, but I gave you, it seems as though I contradicted myself. The hadith in regards to Sayyidina Isa's descent is mutawatir. Okay. So denial of the Aqidah, of the coming of Sayyidina Isa, and denial of the hadith mubarakah is kufr, because they're mutawatir according to us. And then I think the second time, and I told you that first time, that denial of it is kufr. Second time I think I said that if a person denies it, he at the least will be misguided. Well, I remember that was if a person denies it in terms of ta'wilat, interpretations. Yes? Meaning he doesn't deny the hadith, yes? He accepts the hadith mubarakah, but then he gives them a different outlook. Yes? Like for example, we believe that Sayyidina Isa was raised to the heavens alive. He might say, no, Sayyidina Isa passed away. Yes? And he might do the ta'wilat to say that Sayyidina Isa won't be coming back, and so on and so forth. If he's done in such a way, then this person is misguided. Yes? As long as he accepts the hadith mubarakah, if he accepts the hadith, then he's accepted mutawatir, hasn't he? But then he gives it a different outlook. Yes? For example, the coming of Sayyidina Isa, he might look at it in a different way, as in he interprets it differently. Then that person, without a shadow of doubt, is misguided. If he outright denies the coming of Sayyidina Isa, meaning even the hadith mubarakah, then that person is a kafir. If he calls them za'if or whatever, this, that, the other, then according to us, is definitely. Okay.
Well, what if they just do it out of plain ignorance? Because the reason that I've talked to gave me was they don't believe that Isa's coming back because the Prophet ﷺ was never raised. There would obviously be no, that doesn't mean that because that Isa was raised that his rank's higher. Their interpretation was that they would show that he has a higher rank than our Prophet ﷺ. This person has no knowledge whatsoever. It's not like they know the hadith and stuff, it's just their own.
If you look at it that way, then raising to the heavens gives you rank. Then our Prophet ﷺ was raised to the heavens and then brought back and passed away. Yes? So, and Sayyidina Isa will have that afterwards. Yeah, so, I mean, it doesn't prove that Sayyidina Isa
It doesn't make sense to that person I've talked to because they've got literally no knowledge
Yes.
whatsoever. They're not even.
I mean, in this case, if you explain it to them, and the proofs, and they still deny it, then we'll have to say that the person is out of the fold.
But if it's just out of pure lack of knowledge, that's something else.
Meaning if he's having this opinion that shows he's got some kind of knowledge, so here ignorance won't be an excuse. Okay? Because if he's good enough to have opinion, then he should be good enough to look into it. Yes? Yes? One is that a person doesn't know, makes a statement and says, look, I've got no knowledge of it. Yes? So whatever the right Aqidah is, he's okay. But a person, he says it, and then you might argue against it and says, no, I still believe this. Yeah? Then he's firm on that belief. Then he's out of the fold of Islam. Shall we start? Yes? The first mas'ala. If somebody says the words of kufr, ma'azallah, but he's forced to say them. A person is forced to say the words of disbelief. And by force here we mean that it's life-threatening. So now he has leave to say the words of disbelief but not believe them in his heart, because his life is at stake here.
What if he's being beaten but his life's not?
Then he won't be. Then he won't be.
That's subjective in a way, because what if he's in a situation whereby he is being beaten but he doesn't know that it could potentially lead to death? Or
You know, it's subjective to the person. If he feels his life threatening, then yes. Yes. Then yes. He'll assess that situation. do a survey while being beaten up.
Thumped in the face or so on.
Meaning, for example, they're threatening him that they will kill him, and that's taken seriously. They won't be taken lightly, they'll be taken seriously. Yes? They've got guns, they've got knives, they've got things like this, and so that's a serious threat. But it's better not to speak the kalima of kufr. Sorry, the other way around. It's better for him to save his life than speak the truth in this case. Yes?
It is however more exalted that one gets killed and does not utter these words of comfort.
Have I read it wrong on here? Right. Yeah, sorry, you got it right. It's better to be killed than speak the kalma of kufr. Masla too. Yeah.
But there is leeway in the sense that
No, that's leave. Obviously, that's more rewardable, isn't it?
yeah,
It's more rewardable, but you've got the leave to say the words of kufr and save your life. Yes? But you assess the situation. If you're by yourself and nobody depends upon you, then, go for it. And you're fed up of the dunya, then go for it. And obviously, if there's people dependent on you, Islam might depend upon you. Yes? So then in this case, you should take the leave. Masla 2. Actions are not part of Iman. Okay? Actions are not part of Iman. They're part of Islam. Explained that last week, didn't I? But there are certain actions which we say they're not against Iman as well. Whereas if a person denies them, then we'll say he is out of the fold of Islam. For example, to worship other than Allah, it's an action, isn't it? But yet, the person who does this, we call him a mushrik. So worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is disbelief. How does that work? Worshipping other than Allah is shirk, and shirk is disbelief. So worshipping other than Allah is disbelief. To kill a prophet is disbelief. Yeah, it's an action though, isn't it? To blaspheme, yes, is an action because it's talking, isn't it? Now here is still disbelief. To belittle the Kaaba or the Quran, this is considered disbelief. To belittle the Sunnah of the Prophet, yes. The beard, sisters have to be careful. A lot of we get a lot of complaints that sisters don't like the beard. Okay, and it's just one of those things. It's a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so you have to be careful in terms of how you treat the beard. Yeah, there used to be a common thing that they used to say, but which is a kufriya thing, which belittles the beard, which you shouldn't do, do in that sense. Or to belittle in the sense that, what is this beard? There's nothing to it. Yeah? This is an example. It's the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But to belittle it as though it's nothing. Yes, we will class things like that as disbelief. So these are all kufr. So saying like, I don't like your beard, shave it off. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. Obviously, the intent not there to belittle it. It's probably just to show, that you don't like this person in this manner. So the intention is not there. But if a person does say the same sentence in the intent that he's belittling the sunnah of the Prophet, then it will be kufr. It will be disbelief. Okay. Similarly, some actions are sign of kufr as well. He wrote a word here, zunnar, and I'm guessing is this thread which the Hindus wear. I think the Brahmins wear it. Like a belt. Zunnar, the first one. ऐसा ईदुस से अक्सर से डालते हैं और ईसाई मजूसी और यहूदी कमर में बांधते हैं. But the first one, I know the first one, is the Brahmin sect, isn't it, that wears a thread from the shoulder downwards and it just goes round. This is a sign of kufr, and if you start doing that as well, then this action is considered to be disbelief as well. I would say something like the Christian beads with the cross on it. Yes? This would be kufr. I can hear myself now. I'm giving fatwa to myself. And various other things. Obviously, this is referring to in terms of wearing, but in the Jewish tradition, what do you have? You have those candles. How much candles would there be? 7 candles? Yeah, something like that. So you just have to be careful of these things.
Symbolism.
Yes, symbolism. Number 2 out of this list is the small hair lock that you might have for children. Yes, we always tell you to be careful of this. I told you somewhere before as well. I see a lot of people doing it, astaghfirullah. They have children, and basically when he's born or she's born, whoever it is, they shave the whole head off except for that part of the head. And then that child will keep that for maybe, I don't know, rest of his life or until he comes out of his parents' control. Yes? So basically just have a hair, of thread of hair just coming off his side. But Hindus do that. Hindus or monks? Both? Yes? Lit, yeah. They call it lit. Yeah. Again, this is sign of kufr. Yes. We don't have a concept of that. They make a vow to their gods and do this. Yes? What do we do with it? Go to the darbar. But there's no concept of that because it's not worship, is it? We'll carry on after Salah, inshallah. So he said keeping this lock of hair on children is also seen as a sign of disbelief. So you should keep your children free of these things. Why? Because certain religions like Hindus have these as a sign of their faith. A sign of their faith. So for that reason, because it's a sign of their faith, it is haram for us to keep it, and if somebody does keep it, it'll be seen as a sign of disbelief as well. Obviously the child won't disbelieve, but the parents that are doing that to the child, they will be seen as doing the disbelief.
Sheikh, can I just ask it's a bit of a funny question. Do you know what the tie, there's people that say it's a symbol of Christianity.
I've never come across that the tie was a symbol of Christianity. Have you come across anything, Danish? Huh?
I've heard heard that Allah Hazrat has said it.
I've never come across it. Maybe Allah Hazrat has said it. We'll have to check it out, but I've not come across it. I personally don't wear the tie anyway. I never wore a tie to school. So
It's just in certain work professions, it's obviously mandatory to wear a full suit and
it's not really. It's not. And you can check up the law on that. It's not necessary for you to wear a tie. Yes, you wear a shirt, you wear your trousers. Yes, but it's not necessary for you to wear a tie.
It's usually company
company
policy.
policy. Yeah.
Company policy, yes, that might change. Do a bow tie instead.
I think they've, in Parliament, they've made an adjustment that accommodates people without ties now.
Yes.
If it's at the model of Parliament, then I'm sure it can be extended beyond that.
I mean, you can always exercise, even if it's company policy, you can exercise your right to not wear a tie. And they can't discriminate against you. Say on religious grounds.
Got any food you buy and stuff?
Yeah, go on.
No,
You can, yeah. Similar with sisters with your hijab, you can say to them, it's your basic right for you to wear your niqab or your hijab, and if anybody denies you that, then you can maybe sue them, and that way you get more money.
That's UK specific then.
Yeah, UK specific. Don't try that in France. He says a thing called kashfa. You know what Hindus wear on their forehead? That's the only thing I can recall of. Like a reddish thing. Yes? That is seen as a sign of disbelief as well. The dot. Yeah.
It's quite common amongst
What's that?
it's quite common amongst our people now.
Yeah, I've seen it quite a bit, but it shouldn't be. It's a Hindu thing, so leave it with the Hindus. It's got nothing to do with Islam. So the fuqaha have said that whoever does these actions or these things, then they would call them a kafir. Okay. So then, when these actions bring about kufr, then these people will have to bring Islam again. I accept Islam again. And he writes here, they'll have to get married to their wives again. Okay. They'll have to get married. That if a male leaves Islam, then his nikah with his wife breaks, and they have to redo their nikah. That makes sense? In irtidad, that is. Aqidah number 3. Anything which is proven through Quran decisively, Quran, Hadith, Mutawatir, is permissible or impermissible. To call the permissible impermissible and then call the impermissible permissible, which is decisively proven, this is kufr as well. To say the pig's halal to eat. Yes? Now we know from Quran and Hadith that it is haram, isn't it? Without a shadow of a doubt. If somebody says that to eat the pig is permissible, then this person has also done kufr, has disbelieved. Similarly, the other way around. Something that's permissible to say it's haram. Okay. We got another masla here, and the masla is that in usul aqaid, in belief, to do taqleed is not permissible. To do taqleed is not permissible. Rather, to say anything which is decisive in the religion, regardless of how the decisiveness of that aqidah or that thing is proven, And you don't have to derive them, as mean you have to go into detail to derive those aspects of the religion. Then in those cases, you do not do taqleed. To believe the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't need to do taqleed in that. To believe in the messengership of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you don't need to do taqleed in that. So these aqaid that are the fundamentals, the basis of Islam, that everybody believes in. In these, you do not do taqleed. But there are furu'e masail, furu'e aqaid rather. Furu'e aqaid. I detail issues in aqidah which sometimes can be hard to attain. These detailed issues in aqidah, you can do taqleed in them. Sells the matter, doesn't it? In regards to what others have been saying. Yes? Others have been saying you totally can't do taqleed in aqidah. Yes, it's wrong concept. And it shows the lack of the understanding of those people that say that you can't completely do taqleed in aqidah. No, in fluid masail you can. The basic aqeedas, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being one, without you even knowing the dalil for it, you should say to yourself, Allah is one. And that's good enough. That is good enough. Now if somebody asks you for the dalil, the proof of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one, yes, that is called furu'e aqaid now. Furu'e masail or furu'e aqaid. Yes? Because that's istidlal, isn't it? Yes? Because you do not do taqleed. Taqleed in aqidah is not done in those things which need a dalil. Taqleed is done in those things which need a dalil. Yes? Taqleed is done in those things which need proof and evidence. Yes?
Where there can be difference of opinion.
Where there can be a difference of opinion, or even if there isn't a difference of opinion, but it's a detailed matter. Yes? Look at it this way, that God is one, you believe that. Now the evidence of it might be a bit hard. To logically know how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one, that might be hard. Then you say, I follow so-and-so imam, I'm Maturidi in that. And you go along with it. Another will say, I'm Ashari in that. He's got some other logic to how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one. That's fine. Yes? So, whereas other people have understood it, what? That completely you can't do taqleed in aqaid. It's not the case. In furu'e aqaid you can do taqleed. Yes? In usul aqaid you cannot do taqleed. And usul aqaid are those beliefs or those things which are decisively proven within Islam. Decisively proven, meaning everybody should know them. That's what makes a Muslim. Yeah, qat'i and zanni. Yes. Now in this regard, in regards to furu'e aqaid, the Ahlul Sunnah is in two groups, isn't it? What are they? Maturidiyya and Ash'ariyya. Maturidis, we're Maturidis, and they follow Sayyidina Sheikh Abu Mansur Maturidi. His full name was Abu Mansur Muhammad bin Mahmud Maturidi. He was from Samarkand and he was Hanafi. And then the other group is Asha'ira. And they are followers of Imam Sheikh Abul Hasan Ash'ari, whose actual name was Abul Hasan Ali bin Ismail bin Ishaq bin Ismail bin Abdullah bin Bilal. And he comes from the lineage of Sayyidina Abu Musa Ash'ari, the companion of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Hence the Ash'ari at the end of his name. Now these two groups, in furu'e aqaid, in usul aqaid they all agree, but in furu'e aqaid they have some differences. And each one of them is upon the truth. Because it's furu, isn't it? And they only have minor ikhtilafs. And their ikhtilaf will be seen as just as the Shafis and Hanafis have a dispute. So their ikhtilaf in Aqidah is seen as how Shafis and Hanafis might have a dispute in how they read namaz. Minor.
What's the difference between
Maturidi and there's quite a few differences. Ibn Kamal Pasha has a whole book on it. Okay, it's a good book, short, but it's good enough to know the differences. But inshallah we'll go through them. We'll go through the differences of the Maturidiyya and the Ash'ariyya. For example, take one example is in the back when we did the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we did 7 attributes, and then I told you an 8th one which wasn't in the book. Yes, the 8th one is disputed, which the Maturidis, as we put as taqween. Yes, the power to maybe create, if you want to translate in that way, the power to bring about. We say this is an attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, separate. Whereas the Ash'ari say no, this comes either under the will or the strength of Allah. But we have it as a separate attribute. Taqween, for example, the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Khaliq, Razik, Razak. Yes? Sorry. These attributes come under all taqween. Whereas no, the Ash'ari say it comes under the strength of Allah. So minor, isn't it? They haven't denied the basic aqidah that Allah is Khaliq. None of them have denied that. They all believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. The difference is that this name of Allah Khaliq, from those 7 attributes, which one does it fall under? So the Ash'ari say either will and or qudra, and we will say no, there's an 8th attribute called taqween, and it comes under that. So just a minor ikhtilaf, isn't it? Yes? And another thing here is each one of them is Ahli Haqq. Each one of them is upon the truth. And you cannot do tadleel, as I say the other is misguided, nor do tafseeq. Nor do tafseeq. I call the other person a fasiq. If another person, remember this as well, a book was written upon it recently by Pir Saqib Shami. I forgot what it was called. Maslak-e-I'tidal, I think it was called. I read it last year in the Urdu language though. He picks up on this issue. Now if somebody is following a different maslak, somebody is following a different mazhab, I should say rather, a different mazhab, as in a different fiqh from yours, but your fiqh is telling you that this person is a fasiq, you still can't label him as a fasiq. Yes? That's the outcome of your fiqh. That's the outcome of your fiqh. But the outcome of the person's fiqh which he is following, that's not the outcome. According to it might be sunnah. Yes? So here the point is that look, when you research something, then you have to follow it through to the end, don't you? If you say this is not proven from the sunnah or this is not permissible, then the result will be that person is fasiq. Yes? But this is a generalized statement, and this is where certain fanatics, yes, in mazhabs go a bit willy wonky. Yes? They lose their brains. Because a general statement cannot be put on a specific person. So when an imam has written that the person who does such and such is impermissible for him to do and he's a fasiq. Yes? But that same issue has an ikhtilaf in it. That same issue has an ikhtilaf in it. Another imam has another opinion and he's calling it sunnah. Now the problem here is that the first imam's opinion is that generally the person who does this, then he's a fasiq. This is a generalized statement. Yes? What happens here is that people take that out of context and they put Zayd's name in front of it and they say Zayd does this thing, therefore Zayd is a fasiq. That's not right to do. Yes? You have the right to make general statements to say that this is a masla in terms of Sharia. But you don't have the right to judge another person and call him a fasiq on these ikhtilafi issues. If there is no dispute, everybody agrees that this is the sunnah and whoever does the opposite, he's a fasiq. Then in that case, when the opposite is done, because everybody's in agreement, then you can call that person a fasiq. Yes? So this is something that needs to be understood. What a lot of extremists amongst us do is they take generalized statements of imams, take those statements and then place them on specific people and call them fasiqs and fajirs and so on and so forth. And that's wrong to do.
We pray behind the fasiq.
What's that? No, we can't pray behind a fasiq. Fasiq, mu'lin, we cannot pray behind it.
So someone doesn't have the full beard, for instance.
Again, this is one of those issues I clearly say now that this issue is disputed. Yes? Even though I'm followed that the beard is wajib, full fistful, is wajib, and you should keep a fistful beard, and the one who trims it, okay? But I've come to agreement because so many people have now written on it, and one of the best reads I've read on is Maulana Ghulam Rasul Saidi Sahib, who passed away a couple of years ago. He has the best research on it. Yes? Until this day, I've not seen anybody answer it. Yes? Meaning I've still followed my imams in terms of that I believe it's wajib, and I believe it's the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, but I've not seen anybody answer his objections till date. Not sufficiently anyway. People have tried, but I would say they failed miserably. But good tahqiq. But for me, what it brings into is that what he has written, what other people have written, that shows that it is something that's disputed now. Yes? It's something that's disputed. Yes? So therefore, we don't need to ponder into it much. Yes? Where are we? Masala 2, isn't it? Iman does not increase nor decrease. You know, statements like my iman's on a high. There's no such thing. Okay? Why? Because increasing and decreasing is for those things which have dimensions, don't they? Yes? First thing. And iman is tasdeeq, affirmation. And tasdeeq is just a notion, isn't it? It's in your brain, isn't it? Or in your heart. But then the objection remains that certain verses of the Quran allude that iman increases and decreases, or rather increases. So what does it mean by here? You know, that iman increases. What it refers to is that belief, the certainty in that belief. Yes? That can increase or decrease. Iman has this in it that it can become strong or weak. It can't increase or decrease, but it can become strong or weak. That makes sense?
First, it isn't the strong believer is better than the weak believer.
Yes.
So it doesn't give that ishara.
It doesn't give the ishara towards this, that the iman in terms of its strength increases and decreases. But in terms of iman itself increasing and decreasing, that's not the case. Yes? And thus again comes back to certainty, doesn't it? The certainty within that faith, that increases and decreases. Aqidah number 4. There's no middle ground between faith and disbelief. No middle ground.
What about middle ground between heaven and hell, like purgatory?
Surah Araf, isn't it? Yes, the wall of Araf. That's proven there.
So Muslims do believe in purgatory.
Purgatory, define it.
It's like halfway between heaven and hell.
There's a new word, that's why I never heard of it.
It exists in Christianity.
No, it exists in ours. The Surah Araf. Yes, the wall of Araf. That exists, there's no doubt. This interpretation of who will reside there. Some said that the children whose parents were non-Muslims, those children will reside in that place. Okay, and there's many other interpretations to it, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
So it's just
Yeah. So between iman and kufr, there's no middle ground. That's to say that a human being is either Muslim or he is kafir. There's no third ground, there's no third base. That a person is neither Muslim, neither kafir. Yes? We call, this was the belief of the Mu'tazila. The belief of the Mu'tazila. Mu'tazila were people who were thrown out of the gathering of Imam Hassan Basri. He just said to them, Mu'tazila means rejected or thrown out. So he said to them, Itazil, leave. Yes, go. Why? Because the question was asked regarding the similar thing. Yes, a question was asked regarding a person, and if he's Muslim or non-Muslim who had sinned. So this, the founder of the Mu'tazila sect, he spoke up and said that this person is neither Muslim nor kafir. Yes, so he proved a middle base. So then at this point, Imam Hassan Basri threw him out. Yes, and then from there they got known as the Mu'tazila, the rejected. Here's a masla here, and that is that nifaq, hypocrisy. That a person claims to be Muslim, but then in his heart he denies Islam. And this person, according to Sharia, if you ever get to know him, then he is no different to the disbelievers. Okay? And it is said that these people will get the lowest part of hell. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there were such people with this description, that they had kufr batni, i.e. they had disbelief in their hearts, but apparently they were saying that they were Muslims. How's the ayat? وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ قَالُوا وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا. When they come amongst the believers, they say, we believe. Yes? And when they are amongst the shayateen, yes, then they say, we're just mocking. Yes? إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ. That we are just of those who are mocking. We're mocking them. So when they're with the believers, they're saying, we believe. And when they're with the kuffar, they say, no, we're just mocking them. Yes? So this is their description. And they were in the time of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam. Yet the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam had the knowledge of every single munafiq in Medina. And only the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala wasallam has the right to say that this person is a munafiq. Yes? So in this day and age, you don't, in this meaning that is, to say that a person is a hypocrite in belief. Yes? This is not permissible for anyone to do. Why? Look at the definition of it. The definition of a hypocrite in belief is a person who apparently is Muslim and in his heart he has disbelief. Now, can you get into his heart? Huh? No? The sisters can. What's the old saying? Huh? The way to a man's heart is his stomach. So, I mean, it's impossible, isn't it? It's impossible. So then in that case, only the Prophet ﷺ can only know. Other than that, it won't be taken. Why? Because he's the lawmaker. Yes? You might say, so-and-so Shaykh knows the hearts of people. They might know the hearts of people. The awliya ikram do know the hearts of people. Yes? But does that stand in the court of law? No. When I say court of law, in terms of Sharia, it does not stand. It's not evidence. Yes? So that's why. But then you have hypocrisy in action. Yes? Hypocrisy in action. You say one thing and do the other. That's hypocrisy, isn't it? Yes? We call that hypocrisy nifaq in amal. Okay? So you have two aspects, which is hypocrisy in belief, that's disbelief. Yes? And then there's hypocrisy in action, when you might say the person is a hypocrite, but in action you mean. That is not disbelief. The person is still a Muslim, it's just in his behavior, he's a hypocrite. Okay? Like you might say the person who does not pray salah, he's a hypocrite. Yes? So it doesn't mean that he's disbelieved. Yes? It's just that he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Yep. Aqidah number 5. The definition of shirk. Shirk is to say that other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wajibul wujud. You understand that term? Yes? What does it mean? Everyone was nodding when I asked. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's existence is necessary. Now to believe that somebody else's existence is necessary is shirk. Part 1. Part 2, to believe that somebody else is rightful for worship. This is shirk. Now these are either, and then shirk as well in terms of the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is shirk. This is shirk. And this what we just mentioned is the worst type of kufr. Now other than this, any other sin can be forgiven, this shirk cannot be forgiven. And anything else that we might do could be major sin, but it's not shirk. Yes? And this is the reason as well why the Sharia made a difference between the Ahlul Kitab and the Mushrikeen. And their hukums were separate. The Ahlul Kitab Zabiha, their slaughter is halal. Yet a mushrik slaughter is a corpse, is dead meat. To marry a lady from Ahlul Kitab is permissible. To marry a mushrika lady is not permissible. According to Imam Shafi'i, you'll take jizya from a kitabi, Ahlul Kitab. But according to Imam Shafi'i, you will not take jizya from the mushrik. But you have to understand one thing as well regarding the Quran, and note this down because a lot of others, will confuse you on this. Many a time in the Quran, when shirk is mentioned, it just refers to kufr, and not actual shirk. Not actual shirk. Like for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Inna Allah la yaghfiru an yushraka bihi." So here, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that indeed Allah does not forget that shirk be done with Him. Shirk is an action, isn't it? Yes? But here we'll say it refers to kufr. To disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not forgive. So in the Quran, you find that shirk comes in the meaning of kufr. Aqidah number 6. A person who does a major sin is still a Muslim. Person who does a major sin is still a Muslim. And it's just unfortunate in this day and age that we see a lot of people, when we hear about certain people doing major sins in public, we're quick to say that he's not Muslim. Yes? And it's funny that. And these people then claim to be the flag bearers of Ahlul Sunnah as well, which is kind of weird. According to us, no major sin can take you out of the fold of Islam except for shirk. Shirk is kufr, isn't it? So kufr takes you out of the fold of Islam, but any other action does not take you out of the fold of Islam. And a major sinner will enter heaven. Okay? A major sinner, Muslim, major sinner will enter heaven. And that could be done however Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants it. If He wants to forgive him straight away, He can. If He wants to punish him, He can. If the Prophet ﷺ intercedes for him, then he enters heaven, then and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept that, then that's a way for him to get into heaven. Meaning he's at the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides with him to do, but the last result will be he will enter heaven, even if he goes through hell. Yes? Muslims will never remain in hell forever. They will be taken out. Yes. No, she.
Point is, it could be, let's make it gender neutral, it could be anyone.
I don't want to say it. What do you do then? Could be a Muslim alien. There's another masla here, and he says that if a kafir dies, to make dua for him is not permissible. To call him marhum or maghfoor is not permissible. To call a Hindu a heavenly, yes, this is kufr as well. The person himself will become a kafir. We have to be careful of these things, especially when it comes to kuffar and things like this. Yes? The matter of calling a deviant a person who has not left the fold of Islam but might have been misguided. To say, call him marhum or maghfur is a disputed matter. Yes? But I've seen that the majority of people, ulama that is, allow it. Yes? Allow it. I mean, people made a certain issue out of saying rahimahullah after a certain person's name. But you have lots of ulama in their books who say rahimahullah, even al-marhum, before various peoples who you will class as Wahhabis. I mean, look at the books of Sheikh Alvi al-Maliki. Yes? He has marhum before the king's name. Yes? He puts rahimahullah after King Fahad's name. And various things like that. He puts rahimahullah after Ibn Taymiyyah's name. Yes? In his books. So it's something that is, I think, it may be disputed. Aqidah number 8. To know a Muslim as a Muslim and a Kafir as a Kafir is from the necessity of the religion. Yes? There's a difference between calling a person a kafir. Somebody asks you, is this person a kafir? Yes, he is a kafir. Then you go up to him and say, kafir. Yes? That's a taunt, isn't it? Yes? That's like a swear. And you know, in the Hadith Mubarakah, don't call a kafir, it means it in that way. Yes? Don't call a kafir. The Prophet meant in the way that you're taunting the person, you're belittling the person. You don't do that. Yes? But to give a hukum on a person, that in terms of his beliefs, he is a non-Muslim, he is a kafir, he's a disbeliever, that's permissible, and you should know that person to be a disbeliever.
It could be the case, for example, that if you taunt them or you ridicule them,
Then they ridicule you.
yeah,
And your religion.
yeah. It's in the Quran that
Yes.
who they believe
Yes.
is Allah.
They will-
Also, it could be a means of them not coming back or coming to Islam.
Yes? You block that door for them. So knowing the person to be a kafir, that's only by the state he's in now. Obviously, you don't know how he's going to die, do you? You're not, khatam Allahu ala qulubihim. You're not putting a stamp on his heart that he's a kafir, he's got no way back to Islam. No, you can't do that. But for now, what you see, you say that he's a kafir, and that's all it is. Yes? It does not mean you're stamping the person. But a lot of people do that in this day and age as well. They say this person's a kafir, and that's it. All doors of Islam are closed for him now. And they won't allow him to come back to the deen. And this is where I believe that Sunnis are lacking back, because we have this idea. Yes? There are a lot of people out there you might call misguided from different sects. Now what happens is that we treat them as though that there's no chance for them anymore. Yes? Which means that when we see them, we run a mile from them. I mean, that's how scared we are from them. The problem is we lack in da'wah in that sense then. We can't preach to people, because we always have that, if you go next to him, this is going to happen to you, that's going to happen to you, this is going to happen, that's going to happen to you. Yes? But if you're well studied everything, then sit the guy down, let him come sit. The problem is with the ulama I'm talking about, not with the awam. With the ulama, even the ulama are scared to sit with them. As in, when I say sit with them, is to rectify them. If a Wahhabi came into our masjid today, the imams run a mile away from him. Yes? But the imam is the one that should say, okay, sit down, let's go through all your objections. Sit him down, work on him. Might take a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 1 year. Yes? But you'll get there. You'll get there. There's many people in this masjid as well, you'll see, that were part from different aqaids. And slowly they come, you talk to them, you nurture them, whatever, and then they become full Sunnis really. Yes? Some become hardcore Sunnis. So, imam should not do that. So that's the Aqidah number. No, we're still on the same one. So to even doubt or kufr of a person is disbelief as well. Further on, he just puts this note down, and that is this hadith sharif, that the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that my ummah will soon split into 73 sects. All of them are in the fire except one. All of them are in the fire except one. The Sahaba Ikram asked that, Ya Rasulullah, who are they? O Messenger of Allah, who are they? And then the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the saved sect. Okay? Except one, the Prophet mentioned it, didn't they? Now the Sahaba asked, that one saved sect, who is that? The Messenger said, Ma ana alayhi wa ashabi, what I am upon and my companions. And in another narration, Ma ana alayhi, or the Prophet rather said, Humul jama'ah. That is the group, the jama'ah, the majority. I.e., the biggest group of Islam is the saved sect. Now whoever moves away from the biggest group, that's the Ahlul Sunnah, whoever moves away from it will go to hell. Okay. And this is why the group which is the saved sect is called Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Now from these groups, many groups came and then they died out. Some still remain. Some of them are in India, some of them are outside of India. But those that have died out, we don't need to mention them. There's no need to mention them because they don't cause a problem now, do they? They don't exist. But the author, because the author's from India, before the partition. So he says that he's going to mention some of these sects which were in his time.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيد يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وصحابك يا سيد يا حبيب الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
So he's going to start mentioning some of those sects which came in his time. But before that, he places a hadith sharif, and that is that keep them away from yourself. Yes. So keep yourselves away from them and keep them away from you. Yes. That you don't become misguided and you don't be trialed. But this is, like I said to you, if it's an imam or somebody who can deal with issues, then he should help people. Yes, bring these people back to the right way. But as for normal people, then these sects that we're going to mention, you should stay away from them. There's no need to get amongst them. Yes, and that harms them the most. And this is a concept which our people don't understand sometimes. We promote these sects more than they promote themselves. Yes. Let our ulama do their job. The Awam does not need to get involved. Yes. As in, promote your ulama who are doing the job. Yes. But don't get into the discussions yourself. The problem we have now is that our ulama are doing their job, but then our laymen get into the discussion on social media, and then they are caught out by the other sects. And when they call out, they become into a state of confusion themselves, and then they start writing confused texts, confused messages. And then, astaghfirullah, I've seen parts where people have left Islam as well then. Yes? But this is for those laymen who think that they're the flag bearers of Sunni Islam, who are encouraging people to come out and debate more and to come out and express their views more. Yes? It's a very, very dangerous thing, and they're playing with fire. No, promote those ulama. Promote those ulama that are dealing with these issues. Promote them more and more and more and more. Yes? And back them up. The sayings that they have said, spread them. Yes? Rather than making your own opinions up, spread the sayings of the ulama. That's the way about it. Not that you go out and you go on social media and then you start having a debate online and start debating with the Qadiani or Wahhabi or whoever it is, and then at the end of it, you as the layman get confused yourself. Yes? And it's happened. I've seen many, many cases. Many, many cases. And majority of the time what happens is that those people that act as though they're the flag bearers, debating online, you'll see that they themselves be at a state of confusion. Yes? And that's one of the signs as well, where a person is all constantly talking about the same thing. He has confusion in his heart regarding the same matter as well. So it's something to look for our Ahlul Sunnah to look into. Let our ulama do the job in terms of social media. Spread the word of our ulama. They might have debates, they might write things, they might do certain things, speeches, whatever, against other sects. Take quotes from them, spread them. Yes? Whoever it is from Ahlul Sunnah, spread their quotes. Yes? And try to stay away from the debates, because the truth is, this is what the other side is prepared for. Yes? They want you to go out and come out and debate. They want laymen of the Ahlul Sunnah to debate with them. Yes? So that they can take the Ahlul Sunnah population. But what they don't want is for the ulama to come in front of them. So this is something to look into. We'll start the actual sects next week, hopefully. And we start with the Qadianis. Okay, we start with the Qadianis. I think the second one is, the Qadiani is going to be quite a long thing, and you should know these things as well. Yes, learn these, what the Qadianis have said, and realize the destruction that the Qadianis did. Yes, and in regards to the Aqidah around Sayyidina Isa ala nabina wa alayhi salatu wassalam, because they cause a lot of destruction. Yes, but it's unfortunate in this day and age, certain people in this day and age are opening a path and a door back to the beliefs of the Qadianis. Yes, among Sunnis as well. And people should think before they do certain things. Okay. So we'll start on the Qadianis next week. You know what the Qadianis are, don't you? Yes? You do? That's good. Well, shall we break here for namaz? Inshallah. Yeah. We'll have a long break though. About 15-20 minutes. Yeah.
So it could be about nearly half an hour.
Yeah. You want a half an hour break or do you want to carry on? Just carry on.
And then you have 15 minutes for salah.
We'll start fiqh then. We'll do that next week because this is all one thing. Sometimes we end up funding, the sisters end up funding Qadianis without them knowing. Yes? Especially when they want to buy clothes. Yes? And wedding clothes especially. Majority of your wedding clothes shops in Bradford are run by Qadianis. See? Yes, keep it quiet. What's the road called? Whiteby Road? Yes? So you have to be careful sometimes. If you put into perspective, if Qadianis can build their place of worship and spend £1 million on it, yes, and you can see it, and if you're driving towards town, you can see on top of the hill. Is it Otley Road? Yes. It shows you how much of the community that is as well. So sisters have to be careful. Yeah, they do, yes. From what I've heard, that they do part with some of their savings. Yes, they do everything. Right, what chapter were we on?
That which is not like in plan.
Who wants to finish early? Hey? If it starts snowing, then we'll stop hopefully. If it just starts snowing. We did the sutra as well, didn't we? And those things that do not. Yes, I found it. Yes. Right, those things which are not disliked in prayer. It's not makruh to wear a belt. Okay. It's actually one of the signs of the ummah. Male or female, that you wear a belt. When I say belt here, a belt is considered to be anything that ties the waist. Yes? So, in the previous books it was known, the description of the ummah of the Prophet was the ummah that will tie their waist. So, your belt comes under it, doesn't it? Yes? What else? Nara. Yeah? Elastic and things like this come under. So, what it refers to is maybe trousers. Yes? Pajamas or trousers that you wear, which is then needed for, isn't it? So it's not makruh to do that. It's not makruh to carry a sword in salah. You can carry a sword in salah. Yeah? Just in case you have to sort your husband out. But again, I'll say here that you're carrying in such a way that it's not a nuisance. Yes. So, for example, if you have it on your back, then it shouldn't be loose. That every time you go into sajda, it's coming over your head, it's coming from underneath your arm. It shouldn't be doing that. Yes, on the side. So that's just so similar with this would be a gun. Yes, to carry a gun would be. You can carry a gun. I mean, if you got a Glock, that's fine on the side. It could be an AK-47. Yeah. Could be all these guns that you have. Just don't tell the Americans. They have a gun problem. It's not makruh to not put your arms through your arms. That makes sense. Your sleeves, that's it. Yes? It's right. But there's a catch to this. It shouldn't be loosely hanging because that will come under sadr, wouldn't it then? Like a jacket, and you put on your shoulders, it shouldn't be loosely hanging. It should be like a cape which is tied then. Yes? So a cape is fine, but as long as it's tied. If the cape is open, then we class that as sadr sometimes. It's not makruh to read in front of a Quran, nor towards a sword which is hanging on the wall, or towards the back of a person who doesn't have wuzu. I'm not sure how you know he doesn't have wuzu, but that's the case. Yes? So if you're reading behind somebody and you're 100% sure that he doesn't have wuzu, it's fine. Okay, it doesn't affect it. The whole point is that if somebody's in front of you, there's nothing wrong with him being there. There's nothing wrong in reading in front of a candle or a lamp upon mazhab sahi.
It says here on that point, it says the praying towards the back of a person who is talking that is not just
Of a mistake. Yeah, talking as well, similar, same thing. If a person is talking, it's fine to read behind him. It's not makruh. Sorry, it says yatahaddas, doesn't it? I read it without the ta. That makes a big difference. Yes. If you read it, yatahaddas with the ta, yes, that will mean he talked or he is talking. And if you read it as without the ta, okay, then it means he broke his wuzu. Okay? He broke his wuzu. Yeah, these two are things. Okay? It's permissible to prostrate upon a carpet or something that you put down which has pictures on it. Yes? But as long as you don't prostrate on the picture. It's permissible to kill a snake. What's that? Yeah?
Is it okay to kill a snake per se?
Per se, no.
No.
I mean, if you're threatened by it, then yes.
Okay. Is that,
Which will be always the case.
yeah. Does that apply to other animals or is that just
Any animal. Any animal which is a real threat.
okay?
Which is a threat. I mean, if a small little insect came and you're scared of it, then there's no need to kill it, is there? Like house spiders. Yes? They're not a threat, are they? But if you're scared of them, being scared does not mean it's a threat. Yes? Like they say that the spider is probably as scared as you. Yes? So...
If a dog is barking, you don't want to go kill you, you just gotta...
Yeah, that's going to be, obviously, if you got the strength to kill it, then you're not scared of it. Obviously, snake is slightly different, isn't it?
Or you just
A dog is that it's got legs and it can chase you.
or you just
snake.
take a gun out and shoot.
Yeah, shoot it. Similarly with a scorpion. Yes? If you're an Arab, you probably eat it. Okay. Arabs, they eat scorpions, don't they?
Is it allowed?
Not in the Hanafi mazhab, no.
What, snake?
No, we can't eat snake. No. Prawn? No, prawns are makruh. Yeah.
Snake because the ones that we eat.
No. We'll tell you that when we come back, inshallah. We'll break for salah. Did somebody say no?
Someone's asked asked a question.
Okay.
They asked like which shops are Qadiani, so I mentioned it, but then they said, in essence, wouldn't it be the same as giving your money to a Jew or to a Christian? Wouldn't it be the same thing?
No, it wouldn't be. No,
I'm just gonna write no.
it wouldn't be the same. No.
Is that because the proceeds go to a certain cause afterwards? Or just
Yes. No, that is that. But then,
It's because he openly,
yeah, a Christian is open, isn't he?
no,
Yes.
the Qadiani, that they openly say, a lot of the core beliefs of Islam, they openly say no to when we disagree and stuff, whereas
No, a Qadiani would mingle with you and you wouldn't even know he's a Qadiani. Yes, and that's one of the things, and that's why we say that we should move away from them and don't have anything to do with them. We boycott.
Because they classify themselves
As Muslims when they're not.
They themselves as
Yes,
being Muslim.
yes.
yeah, that's what I meant, like some of the beliefs that. But what if you've been giving money to him and you didn't know?
That's what you don't know can't harm you. Right, let's carry on. Killing a snake and a scorpion. This is permissible in. It's permissible and it's not makruh. Okay? This does not include your husbands. Okay? Just in case you're wondering. Because it says يَخَافَ أَذَاهُمَا, that a snake or a scorpion whose pain you fear, who you think that is harmful. If it's with one strike or two strikes, shouldn't be more than that though. It'll be makruh after that. Yes. To turn away from, and even if it's by turning away from Qibla, it won't break your salah.
Just not facing the Qibla. If
Yeah, you can turn away from Qibla and beat the snake up.
your chest is away.
That's fine. Yes. I mean, when you totally move away from Qibla if you want, for killing a snake. That's fine. It's not makruh. I don't know how to explain this. To lift your trousers maybe slightly to go down into sajda. Yes, this is permissible. There's nothing wrong with it. In ruku or sajda. There's nothing wrong with wiping your forehead if there's a soil or dust on it or grass. But this is after you've prayed. After you have prayed. In salah it'll be makruh. If it's harming you like stones or things like this, like we said in the back, then it's permissible for you to remove it. It's not makruh to look with the corner of your eyes. Yes, just look in the corner, left and right. It's permissible to do that. It's not makruh. You shouldn't do it, but if you do it, it doesn't really matter. Without turning the face. There's nothing wrong with reading a namaz on a bed. This bed is a different bed. Yes. You can't read on a mattress, can you? Depending on what type of mattress you got. Temper mattresses where you just keep sinking down. It's not exactly a place to read your salah. If you got something down like a bed sheet or something, or like a thin mat that you might put down on the floor, you can read namaz on that. That's fine. Or anything that you put down, straw mats that you have, you can pray salah on them, musallas, all these things are jais. But having said that, it's better to read namaz on the ground, on the earth, or upon things which the earth grows, grass. There's nothing wrong with repeating surahs in nafil prayer. It's not makruh. These were the things that were not makruh in salah. The next section he talks about that when it's wajib upon you to break your salah and when it's permissible for you to do so and when not. So he says that it's wajib to break your salah, i.e. necessary for you to break your salah if mazloom, an oppressed is calling out for your help. So if somebody is calling out for your help and they really, really need it, then in this case it becomes necessary for you to break your salah. Not by the call of one of your parents. Okay? Not by the call of. If a baby is crying, but if he's in a position where you think that he's going to harm himself, then in that case you can. Yes? Not by the call of one of your parents, as in they're just calling you. You don't need to. You can't break your salah for that. But remember one thing here. Farz namaz, obviously you have to read it, don't you? Yes? What one explains regarding nafil salah, sunnats and nafil prayer. If you start a nafil prayer, it's wajib for you to finish them. Okay? Remember this principle. It's wajib for you to finish once you've started it. Before you start, you have the option. Should I read it? Shouldn't I read it? Once you've started it, it's wajib that you see it to its end. Now if you break it for whatever reason you broke it, it's wajib for you to do qaza of it. So remember that. If you ever break a nafil prayer to do something, then you now have to make up that prayer. Okay? So if your parents do call you and you broke it, then in this case it's wajib for you to repeat the nafil prayer. وَيُجُوزُ قَطْعُهَا بِسَرَقَةِ مَا يُسَاوِي دِرْهَمًا. It's permissible to break your prayer if something the worth of 1 dirham is being stolen. It's being stolen. Long time ago, just as a rough idea for you, I said that 10 dirhams equates to roughly 20 pound. Yes? What would that make 1 dirham? Yeah, 2 pound. Yes? 2 pound. Now, if something worth 2 pound is being stolen, price has gone up. I would say what, by 50 pound? 50 pence or a pound. So let's make it up 3 pound. Yes? 3 pound to 4 pound. If something of that worth is being stolen, then it's permissible for you to break your salah, get your chappal and chase the guy. Okay? So, وَلَوْ لِغَيْرِهِ, even if it's owned by somebody else. So even if it's owned by somebody else, you can break your salah. But remember one thing, you have to repeat the salah. Don't just leave it.
You said the Shafis differ on this one.
Yeah, in nafil prayer, Shafis differ on it. Shafi said that it's still optional. If you break an optional prayer, you still got the option if you want to read it or not. We say it becomes wajib. Because
Can we take the dispensation?
we're not Shanafis. If you fear a wolf upon your sheep, then in this case you can break your salah. It's jais. If you fear a blind man will fall into a well or a ditch, something like this, then in this case you can break your salah to help him. It's jais that. It's not wajib, it's jais. Permissible. If a wet nurse or a mother fears the death of a child, then she can break her prayer. And if not, then she can't. Okay? But there's nothing wrong with her to delay her prayer. So if a child is crying and she has to attend the child, there's nothing wrong with her delaying her prayer. Similarly, a traveler, if he fears bandits and thieves upon his luggage or whatever he has, then there's nothing wrong with him delaying his timely prayer. He can delay. He says here that a person who intentionally, out of laziness, leaves prayer, he should be beaten up. He should be beaten up. Yudrabu darban shadida. Yes. Severe beating. To such a point that he starts to bleed.
This is a ruling of potential death. Apply here.
The ruling of not that severe beating that he's about to die. And he will be imprisoned until he prays. But by saying this is a sign that he's saying only the law enforcers can do that. Okay? So it's not just for everybody to just go start beating people up. It's because you don't have the right to imprison people, do you? Yes? So by saying that they should be imprisoned is a sign that only the law enforcers can do that. And we're the only school that has the concept of prison. Remember that. Yes? Hanafis brought out prisons. Yes? The other schools of thought, to my knowledge, don't have the concept of imprisoning people. You have prisons of wars, yes, but no prisons for civilians. Similarly, the person who misses the fasting of Ramadan should be beaten up. He won't be killed though. He won't be killed. Why? What was the Aqidah? What do we just do in Aqidah? Yes, still a Muslim. No major sin takes you out of Islam. So this,
Unless he rejects it.
yes, unless he rejects it or belittles it.
What do you mean by reject?
Belittling says, for example, he might accept that there is a salah, but then say something like, what do they do? You know, prostrating doesn't do anything, or then give you a backache. Yes, something like that. He's belittling, isn't he? So then, in this case, that is kufri as well, with this belief. Then in that case, we will leave him to the judge. Okay? The next chapter is to do with witr, the witr prayer. Witr are wajib in the Hanafi fiqh, and there are 3 rakats with 1 salam. You know, when I say 1 salam, both sides is classed as 1 salam, okay? So if I ever say 1 salam, I don't just mean 1 salam towards that, other than in sajda sahab, okay? Yeah, like the Malikis. So it's 3 rakats with 1 salam as 1 taslim. You will recite Surah Fatiha in every rakat. All 3 rakats you recite Surah Fatiha, and it's wajib to recite a surah straight after it. And at the end of 2 rakats, you'll sit at-tahiyat, and you will recite up to Abduhu wa Rasuluh. And then you stand up for the 3rd rakat, and you start from Surah Fatiha, Surah. Yes? So in the 3rd rakat, there's no sana. Now once you recited Surah Fatiha and the Surah in the 3rd rakat, you raise your hands up to your ears. Where do sisters do up to? Their shoulders. And you will, this is called qunut, isn't it? Yeah, the takbir. You say Allahu Akbar with the takbir. And now you will do qunut, i.e. make dua standing. Make dua standing. Before ruku, that is. And you will do qunut in this witr prayer throughout the whole of the year. The reason he said that is because Imam Shafi'i does not do qunut in the witr throughout the year except for Ramadan. And I believe the last 10 days of Ramadan. In the last 10 days of Ramadan, Imam Shafi'i does dua qunut in witr prayer. But throughout the whole of the year, Imam Shafi'i does qunut nazila in Fajr namaz in the 2nd rakat after the ruku. So when they come out of ruku from the 2nd rakat and they're standing in the common position, in Fajr Salah, if you read behind the Shafi'i, they'll raise their hands and they'll do qunut nazila. Yes. What we do in that position is we just keep our hands to our side and say Ameen. Okay? And then when he says takbir to go into sajda, you just follow him. Now the meaning of qunut is dua. So any dua works, like I told you previously. Any dua works. But the sunnah dua is this. It might be different in this book slightly. Allahumma inna nasta'inuka. Oh Allah, I seek your aid. Wa nastahdika, I seek your guidance, or we seek your guidance. Wa nastaghfiruka, and we seek your forgiveness from you. Wa natubu ilayka, and we return towards you, and we repent towards you. Wa nu'minu bika, and we believe in you. Wa natawakkalu alayka, and we trust upon you. Wa nusni alayka al-khair, and we praise you with goodness. Kullahu, extra wording here. Yes. Wa nusni alayka al-khaira kullahu, all of goodness. One nashkuruka, he's got nashkuruka, and ours is wa nashkuruka, isn't it? We thank you. Wala nakfuruka, and we do not deny you. Wa nakhla'u, and we let go. Wa natruku, nakhla'u means to take off, so it means let go. Wa natruku means to leave, meaning let go again. Similar meaning. Man yafjuruk, those who are disobedient to you. Allahumma, O Allah, iyaka na'budu, you alone we worship. Walaka nusalli, and you alone we pray towards. Wa nasjudu, and we prostrate. Wa ilayka nas'a, and towards you we, nas'a you could translate as walk. Wa nahfidu, and run, we walk and run. Narju rahmataka, we have hope in your mercy. Wa nakhsha azabaka, and we fear your punishment. Inna azabaka al-jidda, it's a variation. Inna azabaka al-jidda bil kufari mulhik, indeed your punishment, which is with certainty, yes, with the kuffar will join, i.e. will come to the kuffar, the disbelievers. That's what you read up to, don't you? Then you can add this as well. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyi wa alihi wa sallam. Just read the Durood Sharif at the end of it and then go into ruku. He says here that the muqtadi should recite qunut as well, like the imam. There's a dispute. Imam Abu Hanifa said that everybody should recite it. I believe it was Imam Abu Yusuf who said that the imam should recite it loudly. Imam should recite it loudly. And when Imam Abu Yusuf was asked why should they recite it loudly, he said so the imam can teach the followers dua qunut. Yeah. And he said Imam Abu Hanifa said this is not the time of teaching, it's time of worship. Yes? It's not time of teaching. If you want to learn it, prepare a class. Okay? So it's a bit of a little dispute that they had. So everybody recites it. Now when the imam starts in another dua, Imam Abu Yusuf said that the muqtadi should follow and recite it with him. Imam Muhammad said that no, after dua qunut, if the imam starts reading more du'as, then you don't follow him in it. Rather, just keep saying Ameen upon his du'as. Yes. When is this going to be? When are you going to be behind the imam in Witr prayer? In Tarawih? After Tarawih. You get me confused then. In Ramadan. In Tarawih is a separate prayer, isn't it? Yes? You know how Witr in Tarawih do you? So in the month of Ramadan is the only time as Hanafis we read Witr behind a imam. Okay? In congregation, yes. So then in this case, if he's got the shauq of doing more du'as, then in this case you just keep saying Ameen behind him. Now what could be those du'as be? He says something like this. Allahumma hdina bifadlik, O Allah, guide us with your bounty, fiman hadait, amongst those who you guided, wa afina fiman afait, grant us relief amongst those who you granted relief, afiyah, wa tawallana fiman tawallait, grant us authority or befriend us amongst those who you befriended, wa barik lana fima atait, and grant us blessing in all of those things which you have granted us, waqina sharra ma qadait, and protect us from the bad of what you have decreed. Yes, innaka taqdi wala yuqda alayk. Indeed, you make the judgment. Yaqdi, you make judgments. Judgments are not made against you. I.e., only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the final decision. Nobody can reject Allah's decision, and nobody can overpower Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decision. And similarly, nobody can make a judgment upon Allah. Yes. إِنَّهُ لَا يَذِلُّ مَنْ وَالَيْتَ. Why? Because the person who you have befriended and granted honor to will never become low and an enemy. وَلَا يَئِزُّ مَنْ عَادَيْتَ. And the one you have made an enemy can never be befriended. Yes? Or being given honor. تَبَارَكْتَ رَبَّنَا. Blessed are you, O our Lord. وَتَعَالَيْتَ. And high. وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَى سَيِّدِنَا. And prayers of Allah be upon our Master Muhammad and his family and his companions and peace. Okay, so you can read that as well. The person who does not know Dua Qunut, what should he do? The person who does not know Dua Qunut can just say Allahumma firli 3 times. Oh Allah forgive me, oh Allah forgive me, oh Allah forgive me. And then go into ruku. That's sufficient. If he doesn't know how to say that, then he might know Rabbana atina fid dunya. Yes, you can just read that. Read it once. And if that's a bit too hard as well, then just Ya Rab, Ya Rab, Ya Rab. And then
Someone asked a question, if you're a Qadha namaz, did you read that instead of reading Dua Qunut?
what's that?
If you're a Qadha namaz,
Yes. You can do that in normal prayer if you want, but it's sunnah, isn't it?
even if someone knows the Dua Qunut, can they read the shortened version?
In Qaza namaz, yes, you can. But it's still better to read Dua Qunut properly, the Dua of Qunut. وَإِذَا اقْتَدَى بِمَنْ يَقْنُتُ فِي الْفَجْرِ. I've answered this before, that the person who reads behind a Shafi in Fajr prayer and they do Qunut after the second ruku, then what do? You just stand silently with your hands to your side, and when he says Allahu Akbar to go into sajda, then follow him. When a person forgets to do Qunut in Witr, but remembers it in ruku or after raising his head in ruku, from ruku, then in this case, you don't need to do Qunut. Just carry on with your salah and do sajda sahab at the end, and that will cover it. But if a person does Qunut after raising his head from ruku, then he should not repeat his ruku. So instead, if you really want to do dua Qunut, then once you've come out of ruku, do it in the Qoma position. Yes, and then go into sajda, and right at the end of namaz, do sajda sahab and finish your salah off. Okay? But don't go backwards in prayer. Don't stand back up from ruku, do Qunut and come back into ruku again. Because that shows you went backwards. Yes, and that's not good in prayer. If you miss your Qunut, then you can fulfill it in Qoma. Okay? And which means that you just carry on with your prayer. So come out of ruku, do Qunut and go into sajda. Yes? You still have to do sajda sahab at the end for missing its place. But don't go into ruku and then come back out of ruku and go back into qiyam. As in going backwards in prayer. That's not good in prayer. Okay? According to some as well, it breaks his salah. Yes? So you have to be careful of that. If an imam does ruku before the muqtadi finishes Dua Qunut, then what should you do? Or before you even started in Dua Qunut, the imam has finished it somehow. Yes? So he said Allahu Akbar, and the imam has already said Bil Kufari Mulhiq. Yes? Now what do? If you know your imam, as in his general habits of how long he does ruku for and so on and so forth, if you can finish the Dua Qunut off, then do so and join him in ruku. If you feel that no, this imam's way too quick for me, then I can't join him in ruku, then leave your Dua Qunut and join him in ruku. If the imam has left Dua Qunut, then the muqtadi should do it if it's possible. Again, same scenario, if you can join the imam in ruku by reading the Qunut first and then joining him, that's fine. If you can't, then join the imam, because the imam's still going to do sajda sahwa at the end. Regardless if you read your Dua Qunut or not, the imam will still have to do sajda sahwa at the end and you have to follow. If a person attains the Imam in the third rakat, so you came to the witr salah and you found that the Imam is in the third rakat in ruku. Have you got the qunut as well? Yes, you have. I.e., when you stand up to make up your 2 rakats, then in this case, you only make 2 normal rakats up. You don't have to do dua qunut in there. We do witr jamaat in Ramadan only, like we said in the starting. And to pray witr namaz in congregation in the month of Ramadan is better than praying the witr namaz on its own in the middle of the night or at the end of the night, in Ramadan that is. Okay? Normally to pray your witr salah by yourself at the end of the night, i.e. after your tahajjud prayer, making your witr prayer the last prayer of the night, this is rewarded, but it is sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. But in Ramadan, you are rewarded more for reading it in congregation. And Qazi Khan put fatwa on this. Qazi Khan was one of the great Hanafi scholars. He has a fatwa called Fatawa Qazi Khan. Okay? It's probably one of the best fatwas you can get. On what he writes, you can depend on as well. Is the Hanafi mazhab what he writes, and I've used it for a lot of things. Majority of the Hanafi mazhab fatwas generally come from him. Yes. He might have been Afghani, judging by the name Khan. We have the section on the nawafil, the sunnahs. When we say nafil, he includes your sunnahs as well. So nafil and sunnahs. Is sunnah muakkada to pray 2 rakats before Fajr? Yes? Is sunnah muakkada to pray 2 rakats before? These sunnahs are close to becoming wajib. Yes, this is why you can do qaza of them, but only in one scenario. When is that? When can you do qaza of these 2 sunnahs? If you miss your fards as well. If you miss your fards, then whenever you wake up, you can read your sunnahs and your fards. Okay? If you got late for Jamaat and you join only the Jamaat, you couldn't get to read your sunnahs. If you read your Fajr namaz, you can't read the sunnahs now. Okay? That makes sense? 2 rakats are sunnah muakkada after Zohr prayer. 2 rakats are sunnah muakkada after Maghrib prayer. And 2 rakats after Isha prayer. 4 rakats are sunnah muakkada before Zohr and before Jumu'ah. And 4 rakats after Jumu'ah as well. Is sunnah mustahabba to pray 4 rakats, and sunnah ghair muqta, to pray 4 rakats before Asr, 4 rakats before Isha, and to pray 4 rakats after Isha. Which ones are they? Yes, sunnah ghair muqta, but I said it's 4 rakats to pray after Isha. What prayer is that?
Before and after witr. Before and after.
That is your two sunnah, your 2 nafil before witr and 2 nafil after. Okay. And the 6 after Maghrib. What 6 are they? The awabin. Yes. You know your 2 nafil that you read after your sunnahs. The class as your awabin as well. Okay. Now in Sunnah Mu'akkada, 4 rakat, when you say your first tashahhud, you only read up to Abduhu wa Rasuluh. Yes, so your Sunnah Mu'akkadas, you read like your Farz prayer. The only difference is when you stand up for the 3rd rakat and the 4th rakat, you have to read Surah Fatiha and a surah. In Farz you just read Surah Fatiha, don't you? Yes, that will be the difference. And in Sunnah Ghair Mu'akkada, 4 rakat, you will read 2 rakat, sit down and read the whole of your tashahhud, including your dua. Okay? And then when you stand up for the 3rd rakat, you will start from Sana. Easy way to remember it is, Sunnah Ghair Mu'akkada are treated as 2 nafils. Yes? 2 nafils. So in this case, in nafil, when you read 2 rakats nafil, you read all the tashahhud, don't you? Yes? But in this case, you just don't give salam, you stand up for. Then the question arises that if it's 2 rakats, why do you give salam at the end of 2? Isn't it wajib to give salam at the end of 2 rakats? In a nafil prayer, 2 rakat namaz nafil. Then we say that the not giving salam is excused here. Why? Because we have an example of praying 4 rakats, and that's the Farz prayer, where we can give salam at the end. Yeah, so that's why. So in Sunnah Ghair Mu'akkada, you read all the way up to your dua, then stand up for the 3rd rakat and start from Sana. The reason you start from Sana is because they treat it as 2 extra rakats of nafil. Okay. This is why you can change your intention. If you decided to pray 4 rakats then and think, I need to cut this short, yes, you can end them on 2. Yes, and make up the other 2 later on sometime. He says here that it's makruh to read more than 4 rakats with 1 salam during the day. So if you're reading nafil, you should not read more than 4 rakats at a time. Yeah? Meaning that you can't do an 8 rakat namaz. Okay? Restricted to 4. And it says that in the night you can go up to 8. You can go up to 8. But it's better, Imam Abu Hanifa said that you should read 4 at a time. But the Sahibain said, and this is what we follow, that you do 2 nafil at a time. Okay? Rather than reading 4 at a time, read 2 at a time. And that's the way they are read. The night prayer, the nafil of the night, are better than the day. And lengthening the qiyam is better than lengthening your prostration or doing more prostrations. Yes? Because the Quran is read in qiyam, isn't it? So for that reason, they give it a virtue over the rest. The next section is dealing with Tahiyatul Masjid, Salatul Duha, and enlivening the nights. He says here that it's sunnah to read 2 rakat Tahiyatul Masjid. So every time you enter the masjid, you can read, it's sunnah to read 2 nafil. But we tell you here, is before you sit, that is. We tell you here that if you pray any fards, sunnahs, whatever, as soon as you enter the masjid, you'll get the reward of Tahiyatul Masjid as well. So the point here now is, a gift to the masjid is any prayer that you pray in the masjid. So if you walked into the masjid and the prayer is on, the Jamaat is on, and you join the Jamaat straight away, with that Jamaat, with that Salah, you get the reward of Tahiyatul Masjid. Yes? But if there's lots of time, then it's more rewardable to read Tahiyatul Masjid first, 2 rakats, and then maybe read the sunnahs, for example, 4 sunnahs of Zohar after it. Okay. It's mustahab to read and sunnah to read 2 rakats of Tahiyatul Wudu as well. Tahiyatul Wudu. The same concept. Any prayer which you read within the wuzu, if you did wuzu and straight away read your first prayer, you'll get the reward of Tahiyyatul Wuzu as well, similar to Tahiyyatul Masjid. It's sunnah to read 4 rakats or more in Salatul Duha. Chasht and Ishraq, according to myself, are the same prayer. There's no difference. It's called Salatul Duha. Yes? I don't know who made the difference in terms of made them look like they're separate prayers. Truth is that they are one prayer. They are one prayer. Only difference is that one day the Prophet ﷺ read them in the beginning time, and the next day the Prophet read it at the end time. Yes? But somebody made it look like that there were 2 prayers. But Sayyidah Aisha called both prayers Salatul Duha, which shows us that it's the same prayer. It's mustahab to read and sunnah to read the night prayer, tahajjud. Salatul Istikhara is mustahab, sunnah mustahabba. Yes, go for it.
Is there a minimum number to it?
8. Yeah. A minimum, sorry, maximum is 8. Minimum is 2. Maximum is 8. Some say 12, but 8 is better. For dua, Salatul Duha, I think it's, what's the, that was for Tahajjud. Yeah. Duha goes to 6, does it? Yeah.
4 it says.
4?
What is it?
Yeah, 4 or more we said, but it might go, I think goes to 6. Night prayer is 8. Yes, but there's a difference between tahajjud and qiyamul layl, by the way. Okay? Tahajjud is that you sleep before and fight the bedsheet to get up and then stand in prayer. Okay? And qiyamul layl is that you're already awake and you decide to read 2 nafil. Okay? All it is just in terms of reward. In terms of reward, tahajjud has more reward than qiyamul layl. Why? Because of the struggle. Yes? Kind of heavy that blanket in the night, isn't it? Go for it.
Is there a limit? How long is it? A couple of hours or
What's that, sorry?
for the night prayer?
You sleep for a second and wake up is, when you say sleep, like you're totally out. Sleeping is like you totally lose your senses and you don't know what's going on. Yes? I sleeping that breaks your wuzu. Yes? So if you say to yourself, yes, I broke the wuzu, then in that case, you can go do wuzu and pray your tahajjud. Salatul Istikhara, everybody asks about this. Yeah, the dua of Istikhara, you should read. You can find it in general books as well, and you can look it up. There will be Hazal Amr word comes in the dua. When you come to that point in your dua after the salat is usually 2 rakats, nafil, just read it, and at the end you do this dua of Istikhara. The word Hazal Amr comes in there. If you can speak Arabic, then mention the thing that you are doing Istikhara for. If you can't, then just make an intention within your heart of what it is. It comes twice, you'll have to do that twice. Okay? And then hopefully you will get your indication. You don't have to go to sleep for Salatul Istikhara. Okay? It doesn't have to be done on a night. It can be done in the middle of the day. Yes? And then if your husband comes in front of you, then you can say, it's not going to go well today. Yes? Yeah? So you can have telltale signs that sometimes to do with your feeling and that after the salah, that you've done salah, everything, and then it comes into your heart that I should accept this job offer. Yes? And you have a strong feeling, go for it. Yes? Go for it. But don't do things like, oh, I did istikhara and look, my job's going wrong now. Yes? That's obviously the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He does as He pleases. You can't blame Him for anything. Yes? So we get this, the Mawlana Sahib, we asked you to do istikhara, you said go for the marriage. Yes? I've been married for like 10 years now and it ended up in divorce. Yes? You know, it's life. Yes? At that time it was good for you to get married. Why? Because maybe it had protected you from a lot of sin. So the istikhara came out good in that way. But the istikhara wasn't that you did istikhara once and that's it. You're going to marry this woman and she's going to be Cinderella all her life. Yes? It's not the case, is it? You have ups and downs. So istikhara is literally done for anything you have a doubt with. Yes? I mean, if you don't know what to cook for your husband, do istikhara. Yeah? If you don't know what to bring as a gift for your wife, then do istikhara. Yes? And it'll work, inshallah.
Should you always do istikhara for 7 days straight?
You don't have to do it for 7 days. That's only if you're totally confused and you don't have control over yourself. Yes? Muslims have control over themselves. They know what's going on in their heart. Yes? We only advise it for 7 days because people can control their own hearts. So they get a lot of inclinations and little, all sorts of little confusion inside their heart. Yes? So their dreams tell a lot about a person. And I'll tell you that now. If you ever come to me and ask, tell me your dreams and to interpret them, I'll know a lot about you. Yes? Because your dreams tell me a lot about you. They'll tell me what type of person you are. Yes? How your way of thinking is like. Yes? And dreams do that. Yeah? Maybe not the first dream that you bring. Yeah? But if you keep bringing them, I'll exactly know how you like and the way you... And people do that with istikhara. That recently a sister just sent me 7 dreams altogether. Yes? But it told me a lot about how she thinks. Yes? The way she's like. Even her attitude at times. Yes? So it tells a lot about a person.
Does that mean don't share your dreams?
I mean, I always tell people not to go into their dreams too much. Yeah. I know we'll open that door slightly, that we interpret people's dreams. I actually only started off doing it for 1 or 2 people. Yes? And it just spiraled out of control. But I don't want to open the door where people depend upon their dreams. It's not a good thing. Yes? That people are caught up in their dreams as opposed to reality. And you get that even for Sufis. People in tariqah, they get caught up with their dreams. And they're constantly looking for their dreams. All they want to go is to go home to bed and go to sleep so that they might see something amazing so they can tell people about it. Yes? So they caught up in that world. And sometimes it affects their lives as well. Yes. So we don't want people to do that. This is why you need to build yourselves up to have control over your own heart. Yes? Because the first thing that comes into your heart is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have control over that, you have control over your life. Yes? You could just sit there and do istikhara in your heart. Just sit there and ask yourself the question, should I do this, shouldn't I do that? Yes? The answer will come to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the answer. You make sincere dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it'll come in your heart. What's the problem is our hearts are polluted. Yes? And all the dirt of our heart takes over, and that notion that came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is easily clouded. So we have no control over it. Yes? Best book, I've told you so many times, read Minhajul Abidin of Imam Ghazali. Yes? I used to do a dars of it a long time ago. I taught the whole book. I never taught it after that. We might do a course on it sometime, inshallah. It tells you, it actually teaches you how to control your heart. Okay? What's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what's from the devil, what's from the angel on your side, what's from the jinn on your side, yes? And what's just your nafs speaking. He tells you all of them. So istikhara can be done in the middle of the day. Okay? So you don't have to go to sleep. The only reason we tell people to go to sleep is because they don't have control over their thoughts. This is only bound to marriage anyway. So if somebody contacts you regarding istikhara, then yeah, you're doing it for marriage, okay. How many offers have you had? And you know where they're heading, don't you? Yes? It's not exactly going to be for something different. What car should I buy? I'm past now. You never get that, do you? Yes? I am getting married, but I don't know which wedding dress to buy. Yeah? You don't get istikhara for that. But these are things you can do istikhara for as well if you're confused. Yes?
It can be for anything, can't it, really?
Yes, it can be for anything. Yes. Like a long time ago, is a close friend. He was getting married, and they have a tradition where the male has to buy the wedding dress, but he was totally confused on what to buy. Can you do istikhara? Go for it.
If you're already inclined to one decision, should you still do it?
Then there's no need for istikhara. You're inclined. Istikhara is when you're completely 50-50 on doing something, you're totally confused. Yes? That's when istikhara is done. When you have already inclined. Yeah? Like there was a brother who contacted me once. Mawlana Sahib, I want to do istikhara. What's the method of istikhara? Okay. I told him the method. And then I just said to him, what are you doing istikhara for? For marriage. I go, okay. What's your options? Yes. He says, I'm getting married tomorrow. You can't do istikhara in that case. You're getting married tomorrow, your nikah's tomorrow. Yes, you can't. Yes. You already made the decision, you said yes, everything, now you're doing istikhara. It doesn't work that way. Okay? When you're completely 50-50, you can't get a decision, you don't know what you're doing, then istikhara is for those things. Okay? Hence those examples I said, you don't know what to cook for your husband. It can be confusing sometimes, yes? How much salt should I put in to istikhara for it? The Sahaba, the reason I said that is because of the way the Prophet ﷺ emphasized to the Sahaba Ikram. Okay? The Prophet taught dua istikhara. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Masud said, the Prophet taught us dua istikhara in such a way as he would teach us a verse of the Quran. Yes? That's how much importance the Prophet ﷺ gave to the dua of istikhara. And it's also narrated that the Sahaba Ikram literally used to do istikhara for everything. Yes. For everything that they were maybe confused on, they would do istikhara for. If they want to go on a journey, they do istikhara. If they're going to make a business transaction, they probably do istikhara before it. Yes? Always seeking that counsel from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why in Islam we never had counseling. There was no concept of it because this was our counseling. But because we've left these things, now we have to counsel Muslims. Yes? And worst of is marriage counselling. Yes. I've done marriage counselling for so long, and I've stopped it. I stopped it in the start of last year, but I still get one or two cases, and I think, okay, I'll just do it. But you see the state of Muslims as well, as in where their faith is as well, and the reason because of that is because we're not constantly making dua. Yes, we don't turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't do istikhara and things like this. Yes. Hence why we then need counseling. It's mustahab to enliven the last 10 nights of Ramadan. What I mean by enliven is stay awake. Stay awake in the last 10 days of Ramadan. And the nights of Eid, 2 nights of Eid. Don't do Chand Raat in this. Okay? The nights of Eid are very sacred nights. They are nights in which your du'as are accepted. Yeah? So you keep them alive. For example, our nights are in the starting used to be preparing for Eid prayer. Yes. Now it's not the case. Okay. I don't need to prepare for Eid Salah anymore. And what happens on Eid night is stay awake and see what's being made in the house. So it's but use this as time to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do some zikr, read the Quran. Yes, it's a night in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts your du'as, and specifically the last night of Ramadan and then the night of Eid. The last night of Ramadan is a very virtuous night, first of all. The 10 days, isn't it? A person's neck is freed from the hellfire. Yes? But then the night of Eid is a night in which you get rewarded for all of the month of Ramadan. Yes? You get your wage at the end, don't you? When you finish the job. Yes? So when you break your last fast, open your last fast, then the night of Ramadan, the night of Eid comes in, doesn't it? Yes? In that night, that is where you are being rewarded fully for every single day from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in that night, it is the night of shukr as well. Night of thanking. That's our thanks. Yes? So keep that night in mind. Similarly, you have the 10th of Zil Hijjah. The night of 10th of Zil Hijjah. Again, the 10th of Zil Hijjah is... Sorry, not 10th of Zil Hijjah. First 10 days. The first 10 days of Zil Hijjah. Yes. Again, they're very sacred nights in Islam, building up to Hajj. Nisf Sha'ban, 15th of Sha'ban, a sacred night to us as well. Look what he says. It's makruh to have a gathering and enliven these nights in the masjid. Okay. We're going to say we do this all year round. The reason we do it is, first of all, is that rarely people come into the masjid in masses. So just to use it as a point of da'wah and tabligh, to talk to them, then in that case we allow it. Because rarely people come to the masjid if you look at the 15th of Sha'ban, the masjids be full, don't they? Yes? If you go to the graveyard be full. Now if we didn't gather like that, or use that time to give da'wah to people, then frankly we wouldn't have any Muslims. Yes? So that the time to let people learn a few lessons and a few home truths, yes, regarding death and reality of life, regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can use that time. So hence why we allow it. But generally the actual masla is that you shouldn't advertise these nights, you shouldn't have gathering on these nights. Why? Because these nights are about each and every single individual person on their own. Yes? They should be in their own corner at home somewhere, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we can't even get them into a masjid. Do you think you're going to get people to worship on their own? It's not going to happen. So this is why you use that as da'wah. Yes? And then tell them the fada'il, the virtues of praying certain nafils, yes, certain optional prayers by themselves. Yes? When you give them and you see it, that then they'll go back and they'll probably read, maybe most to most, at least 8 rakats they read. You might have told them about 100 rakats in this night, but at the least they did 8, didn't they? Yes? And that's a good thing. You've achieved something. Yes? And in that, whatever they gain, they have gained. Okay? Next week we will do reading nafil prayer while sitting and a few other chapters as well, inshallah. Okay? I'll just touch on the Arabic slightly. It's easy because you've done it before. We did huruf nasba before, didn't we? And lan, kay, and izan. For today we're doing huruf jazima. I'm not sure if I gave you it.
There's one question.
Okay.
Is it permissible for the imam to do a jama'at with regards to salat al-tasbih?
Nafil prayer in Jamaat is makruh. Yes, but we say here if it's advertised, then it's definitely makruh. But if it's just on the spur of the moment, then it's okay. If it's a spur of the moment thing, then it's fine. There's people there and you gather them together and you said, let's just read. Then it's fine. But if you advertise the Salatul Tasbih, then it's makruh. Makruh to do that. Okay? You'd rather do something else in that time. Yes? It's good to read Salatul Tasbih, but I don't understand why people do it in congregation. It's a personal thing. You'd rather use that time and give da'wah to the people. Yes? Give da'wah to the people and give them a few lessons in Islam.
I see it done sometimes in the masjid, and you bring a lot of people who traditionally would not come to the masjid, and they're
Yes.
actually reciting the congregation.
Yes.
So it's been quite effective in some of the.
Yes. It is as well. On the spur of the moment, then it's good.
But I think most of the time it's very organized.
Yes. What I mean by organized is that it shouldn't be advertised.
I think
Okay.
sometimes it is.
Yeah, don't let it be advertised that if it's just like in certain massages now, because they've always done it, everybody knows that they're going to do it, that's fine. Okay? It takes them out of the karahiyah. Huruf jazima. Yes? These particles, they give a jazm to fi'l mudari. What was fi'l mudari? Who knows what fi'l mudari was? Come on. You all said you know it now. You said you memorized it. What was fi'l mudari? Fi'l mudari musbat ma'roof. Yaf alu. Yaf alu. There's another pen somewhere. Yaf alu. That was fi'l mudari. Now, before we go into that, huruf jazma give jazm to the end. But let's look at the particles themselves. The first one is lam. Second is lamma. Third is lam amr, which will be li. Fourth is la nahi, which is just this la, lam zabar alif la, and then you'll have in shartiya. What's the sorry? It should be in the book. I haven't got the book with me, Danish. Is it in there? Show me it. Lesson 7. Look, we stopped on it as well. Yeah, lesson 7. It's on page 67. I'll teach it slightly different from the book. So you got lam, lamma, lam amr, la nahi, and in shartiya. Number 1, number 2, number 4, and number 5. We're going to do them all today. Okay? They're simple, that's why. And lam amr, we'll do that next week. Okay, so we'll take that out. You remember that fail mudare musbat maruf had 4 gardans, didn't it? How many? 4 gardans. Okay. Now there was fail mudare musbat maruf, fail mudare musbat majhul, fail mudare manfi maruf, fail mudare manfi majhul. So 4 all together. Now those 4 gardans will fit with in shartiya. Okay. So how much will this one have? This will have 4 patterns. Okay. Sorry about English. The rest of them only have 2. Other than lam amr, we've taken that out. The rest of them only have how many? 2. The reason is because they're all negations. Lam is a negation, lamma is a negation, and la nahi is also a negation. So can we have musbat in it? Musbat is positive, isn't it? If the letters are already for negation, we can't have a positive then, can we? Yeah? So 2 are taken out. 2 are taken out. So these only have 2. Yes? So the name, this is called fail muzare nafi jahad balam ma'ruf or majhul. 2. Yes? Write this down. Just the title. Nafi jahad balam ma'ruf, or it'll be majhul, wouldn't it? Yes? The second name for the second lamma is the same. Only thing you're going to change is this. So by lam there, it'll be here by lamma. Okay? So same name, fail, mudari, nafi, jahad, by lamma, ma'ruf or majhul. So you're just changing this word here. That makes sense? Do you understand that? So you have two gardans for each. Fail, muzare, nafi, jahad, by lam, ma'ruf or majhul. Then for lamma it'll be fail, muzare, nafi, jahad, ba lamma, ma'ruf or majhul. So same name, all you're changing is the lam to lamma. The name of la nahi is fail nahi. Simple. Fail nahi. Ma'ruf or majhul. Yes? Ma'ruf or majhul 2. In shartiyas is different. So it'll be fail muzare musbat ma'roof but in shartiya. Yes? So, but you have to do all four. So you'll have fail mudare, and then for example the first one will be musbat ma'roof but in shartiya. Okay, this will be the same. This will be the same. That'll change. Musbat majhul, manfi ma'roof, manfi majhul. So 4 gardans you'll have. That makes sense? Yes? So you have fail mudare musbat ma'roof ba in shartiya, fail mudare musbat majhul ba in shartiya, fail mudare manfi ma'roof ba in shartiya, fail mudare manfi majhul ba in shartiya. So all 4 gardans there. Okay. Let's do the first one with lam. It's simple. You've done it before. Remember huruf jazma? Yes? Nasba, sorry. And I told you that there are 5 places where there is a zamma in the gardan of fi'l muzare. If you read it, yafalu, yafalani, yafaluna, tafalu, tafalani, yafalan, tafalu, tafalani, tafaluna, tafalina, tafalani, tafalna, afalu, nafalu. There's 5 places where you see a zamma, a pesh. Don't you? In huruf nasba, what did we tell you to do? Change the zamma for a nasab. In here, you do exactly the same thing, but change it for a jazm. Change it for a jazm. Then, in huruf nasba, I told you that there were roughly how many? 7 places? 7 places which had a noon at the end of them. Yes? Get rid of that noon. In huruf jazma, you're going to do exactly the same. Just get rid of that noon. And then there are 2 places where there is a noon and it remains. Yes? Keep that, they remain here as well. So look, if you look at huruf nasba, we said an yaf'ala, an yaf'ala, an yaf'alu. An taf'ala, an taf'ala, an yaf'alna. An taf'ala, an taf'ala, an taf'alu, an taf'ali, an taf'ala, an taf'alna. An af'ala, an naf'ala. So the noons were missing at the end, weren't they? But then there were 2 places, an yaf'alna and an taf'alna, where the noon remained. Okay. Huruf jazma are no different. Those on the board right now, they're no different. For example, look, only thing we're going to change now in the gardan in regards to comparison with huruf nasba is that where we put a fatha on those 5 gardan words, we're going to put a jazm in its place. Everything else should stay the same. Yes? So look, we can say lam yaf'al. Lam yaf'al. It's giving a jazm at the end, isn't it? Lam yaf'al, lam yaf'ala, lam yaf'alu. Lam taf'al, lam taf'ala, lam yaf'alna. Lam taf'al, lam taf'ala, lam taf'alu, lam taf'ali, lam taf'ala, lam taf'alna. Lam af'al, lam naf'al. Similar to huruf nasba, isn't it? Yes? Majhul will be the same. Lam yuf'al, lam yuf'ala, lam yuf'alu. Lam tuf'al, lam tuf'ala, lam yuf'alna. Lam tuf'al, lam tuf'ala, lam tuf'alu, lam tuf'ali, lam tuf'ala, lam tuf'alna, lam uf'al, lam nuf'al. Lamma is exactly the same. There's no difference. Lamma yaf'al, lamma yaf'ala, lamma yaf'alu, lamma taf'al, lamma taf'ala, lamma yaf'alna, lamma taf'al, lamma taf'ala, lamma taf'alu, lamma taf'ali, lamma taf'ala, lamma taf'alna, lamma af'al, lamma naf'al. Majhul is exactly the same as well. Lamma yuf'al. Then you got fail nahi, exactly the same, you're just changing the particle in the starting. Yes? La yaf'al. La yaf'al. So it'll be la yaf'al, la yaf'ala, la yaf'alu, la taf'al, la taf'ala, la yaf'alna, la taf'al, la taf'ala, la taf'alu, la taf'ali, la taf'ala, la taf'alna, la af'al, la naf'al. And then the majhul of it. The majhul of it. La yuf'al. And is exactly the same. Then you have in shartiya. In shartiya. Same. In yaf'al. In yaf'al. Gardan, same all the way down. Fail mudare musbat majhul will be in yuf'al by in shartiya. Ba in shartiya rather. Then you have fi'l mudare manfi majhul ba in shartiya, which will be illa. Illa yaf'al. And then the gardan is all the same, just the starting is different. Then you have fi'l mudare manfi majhul, which is then illa yuf'al. Is that easy? Yes or no? No? It's easy, isn't it? No? If you go back to your huruf nasba, the only thing that you need to be worried about, yes, wherever you see a fatah, a zabar at the end, there's only 5 words anyway. Wahid muzakkar ghaib, wahid muannas ghaib, wahid muzakkar hazir, yes, and then wahid, and the last 2, wahid mutakallim and jama mutakallim, yes, we call this af'al khamsa, the 5 verbs. Now in those, they have a fatah on them, don't they? An yaf'al, an yaf'ala, an taf'ala, an taf'ala, an af'ala, an naf'ala. All you need to do, keep the rest of the gardan the same. When you put them in huruf jazma, any of these, if you put this in the starting, all you need to do is just put a jazm at the end of those where you see a zabar. Just put a jazm there, and the rest of the gardan stays the same. Doesn't it? Yes? So look, we said an yaf'ala. Here you say lam yaf'al. We said an yaf'ala. Noon's gone. Keep it the same. You just change the thing in the starting. Lam yaf'ala. An yaf'alu. Lam yaf'alu. An taf'ala. Lam taf'al. Changes. An taf'ala. Lam taf'ala. An yaf'alna. It stays the same. Lam yaf'alna. An taf'ala. Lam af'al. Lam taf'al. Lam taf'ala. An taf'ala. Lam taf'ala. An taf'alu. Lam taf'alu. An taf'ali. Lam taf'ali. An taf'ala. Lam taf'ala. Lam taf'alna. An taf'alna. Lam taf'alna. An af'ala. It changes here. Lam af'al. An naf'ala. Lam naf'al. So the only thing you're changing in the gardan in comparison to huruf nasba is wherever you see a zabar, when you put these words in front of the fi'l muzari, you need to just give that a nasab, a jazm. Or if you're not going by huruf nasba, then if you go by huruf, the fi'l muzari musbat ma'ruf, wherever you see a zamma, put a jazm on it. And all the noons, wherever you see a noon, drop them except for 2 places. Yes? That is yaf'alna and taf'alna. That's it. Easy, isn't it? Yes? The lam and lamma, the fail mudare nafi jahad. This is denial of the past. There is a slight difference between both of them, but we'll save that for a later date. Okay? As in, if you say lam af'al, it'll mean I did not do. I did not. Past tense, isn't it? Yeah? Both of them will mean similar. La nahi is a complete negation. Yes? As in prohibition. You're trying to stop somebody. La taf'al. Don't do it. Yeah? Don't. Yes? So it'll be for that. Like a prohibition. Just the opposite of giving a command to somebody. The one that we missed out. Yes? That'll be if'al. Do. Yes? Idrib, hit. La tadrib will just be the opposite. Don't hit. Yes? So it's like a command, isn't it? But in the negation. In shartiya is if. This translates as if. Yes? In tadrib, if you hit. Yes? In adrib, if I hit. There's always another sentence after it. In tadrib, adrib. If you hit, I will hit. Okay? It's like that. So it's conditional, isn't it? So that's the meaning that all you need to add is if in front of it, in front of your translations. Yes. So hopefully this all will be memorized for next week with all of your previous sabaq as well. Yes? Inshallah. I'm going to test you inshallah next week. Yes? From the Quran. Inshallah. Let's stop there.